Hey guys, this is National Master Kevin Yang back at it with another video. So last time I left you off at this position and I said, well, I was about to finish our friend Anthon2010 off, but I wasn't sure if I was completely doing it smoothly. So let's see. So here I played b5 and knight a5. And here I debated whether I should go rook e7 or whether I should go rook d1. And I said, you know what, rook e7, because attacking the knight is important, and if I take it, I get to get a line of sight on this pawn. So after knight f6, I played bishop e5, once again trying to get the line of sight, right, on this pawn. So then d3, and I said, okay, well, I can't go rook d7 because the knight takes it, so I'm going to take, and rook d7. King g8, I'll take that, I'll get back to d7, prevent the king from ever coming out, and just start scooping up the pawns, and then play b6, because I don't want to lose these guys. So I encourage the trade, and I just keep going. This time I'm low on time, so I just start charging, you know? Bam, bam, boom, and I just get there, slowly get there, and I win, right? Through the lawnmower. So, what did we really learn this game? Well, the opening was fine. I'm not sure if f5 is a move. I'm pretty sure the move here is either knight f6, bishop takes c5, knight c6. So those are the moves, I think. So f5, I believe it gives white maybe an advantage. But here it's important to play e4 instead of e takes d4, because e4 poses a bigger threat. So maybe I would play knight e5 or knight g5 afterwards, but I don't know. So e takes d4, bishop d3, and it was all good, right? I was able to really assert the dominance there. I feel like maybe knight e4 here for black, just because after knight e4, if bishop takes, pawn takes, and rook takes, there's bishop takes c4. So that might be something to consider. But other than that, I mean, I'm not sure if bishop d7 was the best place to put the bishop. Might have been. Maybe rook e8, I don't know. But at this point, it's already somewhat difficult for black to maneuver those pieces. So bishop d7, queen b3. So with every move, I'm making progress, right? And here I remember, you know, I was like, well, do I really just take a rook, or can I keep my knight, right? And I said I'm going to take the rook. But there is also that possibility that I could have also kept that knight. So I don't know. It's hard to say. But afterwards, I think I did a good job trying to convert. I mean, b5 and rook e7. I played this part pretty well, and overall pretty solid, pretty happy with the game. Let's get into the next game with Anthon2010, where I play e4, knight c6. So this is the Nimzovich defense. d4, d6, c4, and I play e5. I invite the idea of d5, and I go for knight d4. And I play c5 again. So if you've seen this idea, and you've seen a similar thing, right? Remember in one of our games against Anthon2010, the bishop took on d4, c takes d4, the knight came back d2, and I played c5. Well, this one, you know, it's a little bit different because the bishop isn't on e3 yet. So knight c3, g6, so now I'm starting to build my position again. And it all surrounds this f5 push. So after knight g3, f5. Now I'm not sure if knight g3 was really the best move, because after f5 I'm intending to play f4. So technically knight g3 helps my cause, right? Because now I directly threaten a fork. I used to only threaten the bishop, but now I threaten a fork. So I feel like knight g3 was not necessary. I feel like, although moving the knight out is, you have to do it at some point, I think at this point knight c1 was something to consider. Bringing the knight to d3 and maybe playing for a b4 push. Because if you see that your opponent is playing on the king side, you either want to find a way to counter on the king side, or you want to try to find something on the opposite side of the board. So it really depends. So knight g3, f5, and now I play a6. So I'm keeping my options open, right? Bishop d7, rook b8, and b5. And I castle. I play rook b8. And I say, okay, well, I'm open to playing b5 one day. b3, bishop d7, and thank goodness I get to carry out b5. Now, I don't think I should have been allowed to carry out b5. I mean, I don't know. I feel like earlier maybe some a4 to prevent this b5 would have been good. Maybe at this moment, maybe a4 was still okay, except I would have to judge, how weak is this guy on b3, right? So allowing me to carry out b5 is already, for me, it's a very big achievement. So queen to d2, and now I play f4, because I start to realize, okay, well, I have the space advantage on this side, I have the space advantage on this side. I think it's time for me to shut things down and start attacking. f4, g5, h5, so now I'm just moving my pieces over there, right? And at this point, I think it's already lost. Rook h1 was a good try, but I don't know. I think there was something better. Maybe, no, not g4 because it fails. It takes f3, but there was probably some other defense. But at this point, it's already one-sided. I'm playing g4. I'm capturing. I'm getting the space. I'm getting the e5, the f3, the h3 squares. So I'm coming, queen g3, bishop takes h3. Now, at this point, I didn't see anything else other than, okay, I can take on c4, and after pawn takes c4, take, knight takes c4, right? I saw that, but I also saw, okay, what if I just take on h3, right? So I did that. Queen takes f3, queen to e2, and I said, okay, well, I'm up material. I can either keep the tension going, or I can trade. I decided to trade. I thought my life would be easier, and after bishop to e3, I thought this was a very important move, because it sort of said, the king can't run to f2, and so by not allowing the king to come to f2, it's very important that we control these squares, right? So bishop e3, pawn takes. Now I have two pass pawns, and that's what's really powerful. So now pawn takes c4, just another eye-opening opportunity. Move my king. I go to f2 and e2, enable the queen, trade, and be able to checkmate our friend Anthon2010. So what really was the losing plan here? Well, I think the opening was okay. I would say f3 was fine, right? But I think the start of maybe the problems was knight g3, because knight g3 gave me the even greater motivation to play f5, because I have f4 in mind. So bishop f2, and another thing was there was never a3 and b4 from white's end, and I was waiting for that to happen, right? But it never happened, and eventually, after b3, committing to this kind of pawn structure, it's very solid, but also black can eventually build up, and allowing black to build up is going to let me break through. So queen d2, and now f4. So now I see my initiative. I'm going, and there's just not much to say. I mean, at this point on, I kind of feel like it's one-sided because I have the attack, and our friend Anton, the pieces are just too clumsy. The knight can't exactly get over. Or king h2, knight g6, rook h1. Although rook h1 might be okay, I don't know if it's the best move, but I went with it anyways. So g4, brought my knight into e5. I took on h3. I came in. I took. So this was all straightforward, and I don't know. It felt one-sided. I can't really pinpoint where our friend Anthon2010 went wrong, but I would say it's a bit passive. Anthon was developing his pieces, but there was really no plan of strategy from his end. Like, there was no a3 and b4, and there was no sort of action. It was like Anthon2010 was trying to set up this big fortress, and I was just trying to break it the whole game. And when I broke it, there was no defense behind it. So just think about it like that, right? So eventually, after queen, well, not here, but after almost there, queen d2, right? This was the moment. This was the moment where I decided to shut it down. And I think before that, going e takes f5 is worth considering. But I don't know. It's food for thought. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you next time. And yes, I will always be here to support you along the way.